Hello everybody, welcome to our e-learning session for Primary 5. Our session is the story Gulliver in Lilliput. Now this is chapter 1, but before chapter 1 we will have a quick look on the cover. Now as you see here, Gulliver with the small little Lilliputian people, and this story is written by Jonathan Swift. Okay, let's move to slide number 3. This is the character. Let's see the characters. The main character that we have here is Gulliver. Gulliver is the narrator of the story and also the hero. He is intelligent and well educated. He is an observer of other beings and other cultures. He knows many languages and he loves learning languages, as you will see later in the story. Dr. James Bates, he exists mainly as a name. We didn't see him as a character. He exists as a name only. He helps Gulliver to start his medical career in London. And Gulliver was in, when Gulliver goes south once Mr. James and Mr. James Bates died. Now, Captain Pritchard. Captain Pritchard is the captain of the ship that named Antelope. Antelope, he is the ship that takes him to the south and it wrecks in the storm, and Gulliver was the only one who was saved. Now, the Lilliputian people. Now, the Lilliputians were the people who lived in the first island Gulliver visits. They all stand about only 6 inches tall, and they are very tiny, with tiny buildings, tiny trees, and tiny horses. The Lilliputians are ruled by an emperor who evaluates people according to their skills with the rope dancing, as you will see in the story also, rather than their actual abilities. In other words, they are not exactly governed according to rational principles. The court of Lilliput mostly seems to spend its time plotting against one another. They are fighting together. Gulliver unfortunately forms one of the primary rules of these plots. His enormous size makes him both expensive and dangerous for the emperor to keep. So even though he has made himself useful in Lilliput's wars and he was useful for them to help them in the heavy things, but actually it was time to leave Lilliput to go to the other island. Let's see the next slide. The king. The king is the ruler of the Lilliput. He is like all the Lilliputian people. The emperor is fewer than 6 inches tall. His power and majesty impress Gulliver deeply, but to us he appears both laughable and sinister because of his tiny size. He is believed that he can control Gulliver seems silly and funny also. Screechbloglum, the High Admiral of Lilliput, who is the only member of the administration to disagree Gulliver's liberation. He doesn't want Gulliver to be set free. Reldresal, he is the principal secretary of the Lilliput and also styled himself as Gulliver's friend. When Bloglum and Flimnap are arguing about Gulliver's death by poison, Reldresal suggests that the kinder alternative of putting out his eyes to make him more docile and then starving him to death. He's so kind. The other slide, Flimnap. Flimnap is the treasurer, a person appointed to administer or manage the financial issues of Lilliput. He quickly becomes against Gulliver because of some totally silly rumors floating around the court that Gulliver is having an affair with Flimnap's wife. Blefuscu, They are the enemies of the Lilliputians and they live on a neighboring island. Gulliver goes to their island when the Lilliputian tried to kill him. The king of Blefusco, he was much nicer than the king of Lilliput. He became a friend with Gulliver and he welcomed Gulliver openly after his escaping from Lilliput. Gulliver was thankful to him for showing mercy for him and they spent much time together, sharing the culture of their respective homelands, discussing the positive and negative of each one. Let's move to slide number 6, chapter 1, for the main points here. As you see in the picture, Gulliver was born in a village in England for parents that were not rich or poor. They were normal parents. He studied medicine and he became apprentice. Apprentice means an assistant to Dr. James Bates. He is a famous doctor in London. In the next slide, slide number 8, on his voyage, Gulliver goes to the sea as a ship's doctor on the merchant ship Antelope. The ship was destroyed during a heavy windstorm and Gulliver, the only survivor, swam to a nearby island, which was Lilliput. Being nearly survived from that disaster, he fell asleep, of course, and when he woke up, he found himself that the island inhabitants, who were no larger than 6 inches tall, have captured him. They had put him and stick him in the ground. The next slide. Here we have some questions. Let's answer them together. Who is Gulliver and what's his job? Gulliver is the narrator and the hero of the story. He is an intelligent guy and he was well educated also. He is an observer of other beings and other cultures. He was apprenticed to Dr. James Bates and then he became a ship's doctor. Okay, what job does Gulliver take on board the ship? He became the ship's doctor. Complete the following sentence. Gulliver's family was not neither nor exactly rich and poor. Dr. Bates helped Gulliver to find patience. He helped him to find patience, and after Dr. Bates' death, nobody helped him to find patience, so he decided to go back to the sea. After number 3, after the storm, everybody except Gulliver. Everybody drowned. Number 4, Gulliver woke up to find himself in Lilliput. Okay, now we have finished the chapter and hope that you enjoy it. See you later.